Are you all able to hear me? Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. Sorry for the delay. I was just testing if audio is audible. Okay. So we have been reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is introduction, and it's very important not to skip the introduction because there's so many important points that Srila Prabhupada makes here, just so we come to the right mood in order to receive this great transcendental knowledge. So therefore we need to understand some of the key points, wherein if you are whether we are thinking of material energy or spiritual energy. In our material life, we always think about whatever it is that in material life, everything is related to this material world. It could be in the form of newspapers, magazines, or any kind of a literature, or what we, the kind of music we hear, or the kind of food we eat. Everything is in the purview of material energy. So now if we are completely inside this material energy, and the Supreme Lord is in spiritual energy, in the spiritual platform, then how can we attain him? Therefore, great Vedic literatures like Chaitanya Charitamrita, they say that because we are now within this material world, we have completely forgotten our relationship with the Supreme Lord, because we are always engrossed in the material activities. And therefore, Srila Vedavyasa was so kind to give us all these Vedas and Puranas to guide us how to transfer our material activities into spiritual. And so he has first of all given us the Veda. Veda is originally one, because in the Kali Yuga, it is difficult for people to understand this vast ocean of knowledge. So what he did was he divided it into four. Therefore, he is known as Vyasa. Vyasa means to divide. Samasa means to combine. So Veda Vyasa always comes just before Kali Yuga, because it is required to divide the Vedas only for dull-headed people like us. What to speak of the four divisions of Vedas? Even one division we are not able to understand now. So, being all knowledgeable, Veda Vyasa, who is Supreme Lord's incarnation, he knew about all this. Therefore, what he did was he gave the conclusion in the form of Vedanta or Upanishads, the conclusion of all the Vedas. And then, in order to make it much more compact, he summarized it in compact code format, like sutras, or you can say each there will be like one line, and that will have so much meaning to it. So now Vedanta Sutra, and that is known as the Vedanta Sutra. Now, in order to understand this Vedanta Sutra also, someone has to decode it. Therefore, someone has to explain that Vedanta Sutra, which is the conclusion or the summary of all the Vedic literature. So therefore, Vedavyasa wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a comprehensive understanding of this Vedic Vedanta Sutra. And therefore, for this Kali Yuga, this Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. And by studying that, we are able to understand, we can grasp the entire essence of Vedic knowledge. And whatever we do, we may be materialistic, we may be spiritual all our life, but ultimately what determines whether we are successful or not is Ante Narayana Smriti. At the time of death, we should be able to remember the best thing, because we are going to attain it in the next life. That means Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajityante kallevaram. We saw it in the previous session also. Whatever we are thinking at the time of death, we will attain that. Therefore, if we think of the best thing or the best person, that is Sri Krishna or the Supreme Lord, then we will go to him. We can be living in his world eternally. And therefore, Krishna always recommends over and over again in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Sada tad bhava bhavita. Maam anusmara yudhyacha. You do your duty, Arjuna. You don't have to give up your fighting. Right now, that is your duty. While doing that, you think of me. Therefore, it is very much applicable for us also in our daily day-to-day lives. Whatever we do, at the end of the day, we should be connected to Krishna. It should all, whatever we do at the end of the day, it should directly or indirectly remind us of Krishna. That way we will be in remembrance of Krishna throughout the day. Then whatever happens, we are safe. So therefore, he didn't advise Arjuna to simply give up whatever he's doing, give up his occupation and just keep on thinking about him, because that's not practical for everyone. Therefore, he has also created the 4 divisions of society, wherein people with different natures and occupations, they are also allowed to do their work, which is very natural to them, and yet they can be very faithful to the Supreme Lord by following his instructions. So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. So I have created the 4 divisions of the society. And by the way, this is not the concocted caste system that we find now in India, which is determined by the birth into a particular family. But these are the 4 classes, which are very natural. In every society we find that. It's not just in India. Someone who is very intelligent, an intellectual person, he's known as a Brahmana. So generally, people of the highest order of the society, like the scientists or the philosophers or the poets, they have a very broad mindset. So they are not very self-centered or selfish. So that way, they are the topmost class of the society, and they represent Brahmanas. So, and then as the Kshatriyas or the administrative class, the leaders, so they need someone to administer the society also, like the government officials and all of them. So then comes those people who actually produce, it could be agricultural produce or, Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam. It could be cows, maintaining cows and, supplying cow products, which were actually very important, which still are very important to the society, because cow milk and cow ghee, these are the products that alone, actually just by taking milk, previously some sages and rishis, they could sustain themselves. So it's because it is regarded as the complete food. So therefore it is very, very vital to our body. And so now even that has become very contaminated in this day and age, unfortunately. So therefore, so there was a class of people, the Vaishyas or the farmers or the agriculturalists, and they were also the mercantile community. So they would trade also with all the natural products. Then finally the laborer class. Everywhere we need laborers also to do the menial work. So therefore all the 3 classes, except for the Brahmanas, all the other 3 classes would follow the Brahmanas, because they were very intellectual and they led a very pure life and they were very truthful and tolerant and all that. So they could understand the Vedic literature and they could teach and guide the entire society that way. Therefore everyone was connected and everyone were able to serve the Lord in their own natural manner. So there was no question of employment, unemployment and all these other complex problems that we face today. Therefore, by doing all this, ultimately, one has to perfect their lives by uh, always remembering the Supreme Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has, who appeared 500 years back, who inaugurated this Hare Krishna movement. So he emphasized Kirtaniya Sadahari. We should always keep, especially in this Kali Yuga, we should always keep chanting the Lord's names. And that is the very easiest and most practical way of remembering the Lord. And that's how we can mold our lives' activities so that we can always remember Him. So, and our acharyas or great teachers, they give a very, very nice example. How can we do this? We have so many, so generally householders, they think, all the spiritual life is not for us. It is for all some sannyasis or renunciants. But then that is not true. It is for everyone. And so that is why our acharyas give the example that, even while we are engaged in all sorts of activities, our day-to-day activities, we can still think about and remember the Lord. How? Just like how, when a woman, although she's married, so she has all her household chores and her duties and everything she has to do. But internally, because she is attached to a paramar, she has let's say an extramarital affair going on. So she's always thinking of how can I finish up all my work, and so that I do everything very nicely, so that my family people or my husband doesn't get to know, and at the same time I can go meet my paramar. So all through the day she's doing her work, but somewhere she wants to escape and she goes to meet him. But her consciousness is always about meeting him. So that is her consciousness. In the same way, if we are also able to mold our life in such a way that although we are doing all our work, but we are only thinking of how can we advance in devotional service, bhakti, or how can we serve the Lord, that way we are also very much connected. So also we can, even while doing our duties, we can be hearing lectures and or kirtan and all that. So therefore, so it is very important to be always connected while discharging our duty. And when thus the Lord gives different types of yoga system to Arjuna in order to make him understand how to discharge duty and how to finally be connected to him. So now Arjuna, when he hears of especially the Ashtanga Yoga process in the 6th chapter, first Krishna tells him about Karma Yoga, then Gnana Yoga, then he comes to Dhyana Yoga, wherein like a yogi, you're supposed to sit and meditate and restrict all your senses and everything. So Arjuna is very much astonished. He says, oh Lord, my mind is extremely unsteady. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati balavadhridam vayoriva sudushkaram. It is so unsteady, restless and fickle, like the wind. Can anybody really control the wind? Similarly, it is extremely fickle. So, and you're asking me to control it. How is it possible? But the Lord still says, yes, it's not easy initially, but over time, by abhyasena to kaunteya vairagyena cha, by practicing and developing detachment overall, this sense enjoyment, we will still be able to do that. So that applies for us also. So we have to take to this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That way we focus our mind on this Mahamantra. Sometimes, not sometimes, almost always the mind will wander away, but we should try to bring it back to this and hear the chanting. Then we are able to engage all our focus, our senses and mind, and we can remember the Lord. And therefore, the Lord says, ultimately, He gives His conclusion. So, there are many people who will read the Bhagavad Gita, but they miss all these most important points. And that's why we should try to understand Bhagavad Gita from the right source through this Acharya Parampara. And the Lord has given His conclusion that, at the end of 6th chapter, even though He describes all this yoga, Ashtanga yoga, how to perform and all that, He says, ultimately, who is the best yogi? Yoginam api sarvesham adgatena antaratmana. So one who has completely, whose mind is absorbed in always thinking of me, finally he is the best kind of yogi. Externally, one may be doing all sorts of yoga and pranayama and whatnot, but he is not even thinking about me, then what's the point? There is no point. So the ultimate perfection is to attain Krishna by constantly thinking about Him. So we should not miss that point. Therefore, now a question arises. Now, how can we think about someone like that all the time? We have to love them. We generally think about our, dear ones most of the time, especially for the mothers. Mothers think about their children and so forth, or the family, immediate family. Why? Because we think they are very intimately related to us, and that we care about them, we love them. And therefore, unless we love the Lord, if He's someone who's unknown to us, or he's a stranger, then how can we even think about Him? It's very artificial. So that thinking will come in course of time when we first of all hear about Him and then talk about Him or chant about Him. That's why there is this Navavidha Bhakti, or 9 types of devotional service. There are many types, but these 9 are the most important. Among the 9, that is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So, Shravanam is to hear. First of all, we have to hear about that person. Then, when we understand about Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord, we will naturally love Him, because He is the most lovable person. He has all the good qualities to an unlimited degree, and why wouldn't anyone love Him at all if they at all get to know about Him? So first of all, Shravanam. Then when we get to know about someone so nice, and when we start to love them, naturally we will talk about them. We will naturally discuss about them. Because the thing is, whatever is our input, our output will be the same. If we are watching horror movies, we will be talking about horror stuff to our friends or relatives. Similarly, if we are always reading about Krishna or hearing about Him, naturally we will also talk about Him. And if we are talking about Him, then we will naturally think about Him also. So that smaranam, or thinking that Krishna is talking about, it will come. So one Srila Prabhupada remarks that it's an advanced stage. So we are all still, we have to do that sadhana of, first of all, hearing and chanting. Hearing, reading is also hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So ultimately we have to come to that stage of remembering always, and finally at the end of life, one will be naturally able to remember the Lord, and then we'll have no problems going back to Him. So therefore it is not a very difficult process, as Srila Prabhupada comments. Therefore, but it must be learned from someone who is very experienced. Tad vignanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet. One has to approach self-realized spiritual master, and because unless one has himself experienced that, they cannot teach others. Therefore, by following their example, we always need inspiration for everything and some role model. So in this also, therefore, when we approach such a spiritual master who can also guide us through all our doubts and questions, then we will be able to surely uh, come out successful. And no one is exempt from this, because there are many misconceptions that there are all this caste system or discrimination or whatnot, or even for women, sometimes women are not allowed to perform certain rituals and all that. But the thing is, that may be for lower categories of karma, or some sections of gnana or whatever, or upasana. But for the highest knowledge, or the highest part of the Vedas are talk about bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga, or devotional service to the Lord, is not only the highest, but it is also it is open to everyone. And therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam hi partha vipashritya yepisu papa yonaya striyo vaishyasthatha shudra tepi yanti param gatim. Anybody can attain to the highest perfectional stage by taking to this bhakti yoga. Because bhakti yoga actually is the only way to approach the Lord. Because he also says bhaktyamam abhijanati is the only way to know him. At the same time, anyone and everyone can perform this bhakti yoga. Just like I said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Hearing about the Lord, or reading about him, or doing kirtana, or chanting his holy names, that anyone can perform in any situation. There are no rules, restrictions for all this. And therefore anyone can think about him, because it's internal. Thinking at least is internal. Even chanting, there is no need to we don't have to gather any kind of a paraphernalia for it, or there are no conditions involved whatsoever. So therefore it's absolutely easy to perform. At the same time, it's very, very sublime, and nobody is exempt from it. Therefore bhakti yoga is actually the highest and the topmost of all paths that lead to the Supreme Lord. And Bhagavad Gita exclusively advocates this bhakti yoga. And this is completely overlooked by most people out there who are not connected to a bona fide parampara. When we say parampara, it means just like, how parents, they want to make sure whether, before enrolling the children in a certain school, whether this school is affiliated to a certain authorized curriculum, authorized education board or syllabus. In the same way, more importantly so, in spiritual knowledge also we should be very careful. We can't be getting it from anywhere and everywhere, because they won't be authentic. Therefore, we have to also be affiliated to some recognized, parampara or disciplic succession. So, and then we will understand that, it is actually bhakti yoga that the Lord is talking about all through the Bhagavad Gita. And we won't miss it. Gita Shastram idam punyam yah pathet prayata puman. So then there are so many benefits that is attached to studying this Bhagavad Gita. Because generally, people would love to know, because we as the conditioned souls, or the people in this material world, we are always thinking, okay, before I do something, what is in it for me? What do I gain from this? So sometimes people may ask, okay, I don't have much time, because they are thinking, what do I get from this? Can I earn money? Nowadays, because time is money, I don't want to waste time on all this. But they don't know that we get the highest benefit that no money can ever buy us by reading Bhagavad Gita. And that is elaborately given by many acharyas, especially Shankaracharya, he has composed something called as Gita Mahatmya. So generally, for all of the Vedic literatures or even some of the shlokas, after composing that, the author will give this kind of a Mahatmya or glorification, just so the reader will get, or the reciter will get encouraged that, don't worry, you have not lost your time or effort. You are definitely going to gain from this. But this is all for someone who is very materialistic. Generally, for devotees and spiritualists, they are looking for spiritual benefit. So the scriptures, the acharyas, they provide sometimes both. What material benefit you get to receive from this, and what spiritual benefit you receive from this as well. So the first thing is bhaya shokadi varjitaha, and that means one will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. If we are completely purified, if we give our complete attention to studying this Bhagavad Gita, and if we follow the instructions properly, then surely we'll be free from all miseries and anxieties. Then there is also other advantages are, if one who studies this very seriously, then by Lord's grace, all the reactions to our past bad karma or misdeeds, it will not act upon us anyway. See, from now on, we can correct ourselves and resolve to follow the instructions of the Lord. But then what can we do about all the bad things we may have done in this life before becoming devotees, or what to speak of our previous lifetimes? So we may have done, we don't even know what all bad karma we have done. So how can we be free from that? So now they're giving a reassurance, don't worry, whatever reactions from all that previous bad karmas, they will not even act upon you, because they're also giving evidence from Bhagavad Gita itself. It's not that they're saying something whimsically. So this is always the case in Vedic circles. Any time when anyone makes a claim, then they'll immediately give evidence from Vedic literature. They have to quote evidence, just like a lawyer quotes, he keeps quoting. So we should never believe someone. It could be anybody. It could be any great personality, whether within or outside of spiritual circles. Because unless our claims are backed by authoritative references from Vedic Shastra, we may just be whimsically saying something which may not even be true. So it should always be our thoughts, our actions, our understanding should always be aligned to three things: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Shastra means all the Vedic scriptures, and unless it is aligned with them, then we may not even be on the right track. So then that's why they're quoting from Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Here the Lord says, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhya Mokshayishyami. I am going to free you from all sinful reactions. Then they're also saying, Shankaracharya is saying, one may cleanse himself daily by taking bath in water, but if one takes bath even once in the sacred Ganga water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So that means even once, if we really seriously study this Bhagavad Gita, which it is much more potent than taking bath in even Ganga or other pure rivers, because it may take many times for us to be cleansed of all our material contamination, or that means the bad karma. But here, by studying Bhagavad Gita at once, seriously, if someone takes to it, then at once all their bad karma is immediately cleansed. So therefore, it is said, Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Manya Shastra Vistaraihi Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinisrita. So where is the need for any other literature other than this most sacred Bhagavad Gita, because it has been uttered, spoken by the Supreme Lord's lotus mouth. Supreme Lord himself has spoken it, and these are his own words emanating from his lotus mouth. What is the need for any other literature? So that means it is fully pure like him, and it is fully complete like him. And that too, it's not very elaborate, as in it's not a very big set of books or anything, just 700 shlokas, and he has given all the essence of Vedic literature, and therefore it is very, very apt for people of Kali Yuga. And also, Gita Mahatmyam goes on to say, one who drinks the water of Ganga may attain moksha or liberation. Just by drinking Ganga water, if one can attain liberation, then what to speak of someone who's drinking the Amrita of Bhagavad Gita? And it has to be something higher than that, because it is the essential nectar of Mahabharata. So now, Mahabharata is also known as Panchama Veda. So this Mahabharata is such a great Purana, and with so many different leelas of the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees and all that. And this is included, this Bhagavad Gita is included inside Sri Mahabharata. Then Bhagavad Gita comes from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord, whereas Ganga emanates from his lotus feet. Therefore, although there is no real difference between his lotus mouth and lotus feet, because both are transcendental, but still Bhagavad Gita is much more. Then it is also said, what is the position of this great literature, Bhagavad Gita? Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopala nandana partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamratam mahat. That means Bhagavad Gita is also known as the Gita Upanishad, and it is actually the essence of all Upanishads. So here a very beautiful illustration is given, just like how all the Upanishads are compared to a cow, and Lord Krishna, because he is the famous Gopala, he is the cowherd boy. Now he is milking this cow, which is nothing but all the Upanishads, or the essence of all Upanishads. When he is milking this cow, then Arjuna is like a calf, because he is waiting to drink this milk or this nectar. And all the pure devotees and learned scholars, they're all very eager to drink this nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So such is the glorious Mahatmya, or glories of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Then finally, in the Gita Mahatmya, it is said that, because in today's day and age, people are very much eager to make everything same. They think if there is any differentiation, or if there are any varieties or classes, it is all very discriminating and insulting or whatnot. So therefore now, there is all this in the wake of communism and whatnot. So and so-called gender equality, everything, they want to make everything same and equal and one. People want to have just one religion, one scripture, one God, one occupation. In such a situation, this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, really stands out. That's why Shankaracharya is writing Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. Therefore, one scripture is enough for the entire world. And which is that? It is the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Devaki Putra. There are many Gitas. But this one Gita spoken by Devaki's son or Sri Krishna, or Vasudeva, that is most important. That is enough. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. One God is enough. And which is that God? Devaki Putra Eva. That same Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, Devaki's son. He is enough. We don't have to worship anyone. Eko mantras tasya namani yani. One mantra is enough. We don't have time or interest to, break our heads about so many mantras and rituals of worship and all that. Therefore, just one mantra: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because this is the mantra which has that Sri Krishna's names. That's enough. Karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva. And everyone wants just one occupation in today's day and age, because practically everyone wants to be either an IT engineer or maybe very few want to be a doctor or whatever. The best occupation is to do the Lord Krishna's seva, or to become his devotee. And therefore, this is the sum and substance of this great literature, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, finally, here Srila Prabhupada has included this parampara, the disciplic succession, because we've been speaking about this. So what is the disciplic succession that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who has authored this Bhagavad Gita as it is book. So he belongs to this particular disciplic succession, or you can say this particular school of thought, which is authorized by all the Vedic literatures. And which is that? We will see now. So here, going forward in the chapter 4, Shri Krishna talks about this. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. So even previously, everyone would get this transcendental knowledge through that disciplic succession, which ultimately originates from the Supreme Lord himself. Because Supreme Lord